This is Jose, also known as Jose Nahuan. Welcome to That's a Dude in a Dress podcast. Also, this is sponsored by the Wolfpack Show. Follow them in all platforms. Thank you. So, you already know who I am. This is Malexa.
Also known as Melissa.
Melissa.
I like the way you do your hands.
Yes. I'll put her name right here. Today's subject is when the ex comes back, honey. Oh, I feel like I have a lot of experience when it comes to this.
I was about to ask how many have come back. I mean, I don't have that many relationships, but
Not her wants a number.
well, no, not. I mean, you don't have to give me a number.
No,
but enough to where you're like,
Well,
lot. No, just kidding.
I mean, I've had where I've gone back or they've gone back.
Wow, you've gone back. How many times?
Because
that's an easier
I have
number.
I have toxic traits.
That's an easier number.
No?
No?
Oh, when
Neither
she's
one.
done, she's done. What sign are you?
Same, Capricorn.
Oh, okay.
Same. Once I'm done, I'm done.
No, I'm a Cancer. Well, I have to be officially done to be done. Like I've got to be over. But I don't have a specific number, but I do remember that my first boyfriend, you know your first girl, you're going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. I love you, and I don't love you. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember this guy, he was officially like my second boyfriend. My first one broke up with me, honey, and I'm done. And he walked away. He never looked back. It took him like 15 years
To come back.
to finally be like,
Hey,
hey,
you
how's
still
it
came
going?
back.
No, I know. I know, but God is rested, so I miss him. I love him. But anyway, so the second guy who I was with, we were together for a while, but that one, we were on and off, on and off, on and off. I mean, I was still in high school then. I graduated. We're still like on and off, on and off. But this guy, I remember one time he texted me, and I was, mind you, he was in a relationship, honey, and he was already happy and so forth. But I went over, and his boyfriend was there because I think it was getting ready for like prom because I was going to drag. You remember?
Yes.
And his ex or his current boyfriend at the time was there, and I was like, oh, it felt like Gaga to be around the other guy because the other guy was handsome, honey.
Really?
Handsome and fit. I was all, oh, I hate this. But he would call me. Like, maybe after they broke up or whatever, but he did call me. And I sure did go over, girl. I went over and I was like, I think back then was like a text or I don't know if we're
The beepers?
I don't know if we're still with pagers or not. But I remember he would call me and I was all, oh shit, this is
The
tempting.
landlines.
This is tempting. And I did. I went over and I was like, we did it. We did the boink, 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 boink. And it was as good as I remember, but I think it was a little bit better. He wasn't my best, honey, but he was a little bit better than the last time.
Okay.
It's like he learned a couple tricks, honey. But I don't know what it is about answering a message. Sometimes I'm tempted. Sometimes I'm like, no, this is over. This is over. And there's one ex, like, oof, he was like a current one. And this is after we had already I was done. He was still coming around because we had a mutual friend.
Oh,
My friend was his best friend.
Okay.
And it was so fucking uncomfortable. I hated it. And he was like, oh, your ex is coming. He would kind of like taunt me with it. But I lived downstairs from him. So it was inevitable that I was going to see him. Because he was going to stay the night in his house. Or just come party at his house. But I remember he was like, maybe you could go downstairs if you want. And I was like, no, bitch. He's not coming. And he didn't. I stuck to my guns. And trust me, he was the good one. I should have. But I didn't because I was like, I don't want to get any emotional ties anymore. Like, I'm done. So, in the meantime, what did you do?
So both came back. Both my first and my second.
Well, tell me the first one.
The first one was... we had broken up, and it because the way we were best friends first, and then decided to date, and I started seeing the behavior when we started dating. It was kind of the same behavior that he did with me, he started doing it with somebody else. So it's kind of like, ugh, no. But so before he could break my heart, I was just like, yeah, we're gonna end this. We're gonna end this. And of course, it was a
Not you trying to beat him to the punch, honey.
pretty much because we were best friends, so I could see that repetitive behavior with somebody else.
Oh, look at you learning. Okay, Oprah, come on, girl.
So before that could happen, I was just like, nah, we're done. But of course, I was just like, being young, and I was like, no, but that was my first love. Oh my God! And why did I do it?
Yes.
So it's kind of like, oh, I would try to, call him and try to stop by his house, and I don't know what I was thinking. But anywho, 3 years later, we were back and forth for a while, and then he tried to act like we were best friends again. I was like, dude, you were my first everything. Why would you think that it would be okay for you to talk about the next girl? So yeah, so once that
This motherfucker. No, he didn't.
yes, he did.
Men, excuse me, give me a second. Men out there, let me tell you something. Women don't want to hear about the next adventure.
Nope.
Ever. Even if we ask.
I didn't ask.
Even if we ask, we don't really want to know, bitch. Just FYI.
I was just like, dang, you got passionate.
I got mad.
So when that was happening, I kind of just like, and it got easier as the time went on. It got easier and easier. Fast forward 3 years later, comes back, and we don't run in the same circle. We don't have the same friends. Yes, we went to school together. Well, not together, but we went to the same school. Reason.
It's because I know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Reason we met is because we used to work together. That's why I said I will never date anybody that I work with, and I haven't. Anywho, I would have broken.
No.
There was one exception to the rule, but that'll be another episode.
No wonder. You stuck to that rule because you were like, no, I don't. Or I eat, or however they say it, but
I don't
you
shit where I
eat. Yeah, and I'm like, damn, girl.
Yep.
But you are not kidding.
Nope. There was one exception to the rule. One. But
tell us, Amy.
I'll tell you, we'll do that at a later episode.
Oh, this is good.
Wait till we do a search. And you'll be like, dang.
Okay.
So anywho, 3 years later he comes back, and I'm just like, knocks on the door. Of course, I still live in the same house at the time. Sorry. I didn't want to make a noise. I'm so sorry. Knocks at the door, and I think I'm in the room straightening my hair for whatever reason. Don't know why I was doing it. Mm-hmm. I had just moved back home because I was living with our best friend at the time.
Okay.
And I had just moved back, and so yeah, I was just like straightening my hair. It was bunned up here, straightened down here, and it was long. And I don't know what sister came up to me and said, "Hey, so and so's outside." I was all, huh? I was, are you sure? And they're like, yeah.
No, bitch.
What the fuck is he fucking doing here 3 years later? So I go outside and I was all, what's up? Not like that, but I was like, what's up?
Just real crazy. What's up, bro? What's up,
like,
fool? What's up, fool? You hang out right here or what?
So, needless to say, he was just like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done what I did. That girl ended up breaking my heart, so I kind of understood where you were going through.
Wait, how recently after, like, was it recent that they just broke up?
I don't know how recent, because I didn't care to ask.
Oh, bitch. No. If he's coming back, you got to ask all the questions.
So it probably was pretty recent for him to say, you know what, and during the conversation, he was just like, I had been going in circles for 2 weeks, trying to get the guts to stop and, talk to you and apologize. I was all, dang, you were stalking for 2 weeks?
Oh, I remember you said that.
And it was a whole different car from what he drove when we were together.
Oh,
so
it was in the truck, right? Oh, I can't. Oh, sorry. I'm like, I'm not.
It's like, so when we first were best friends, it was a truck. Yeah.
It's because my memory is horrendous, and this is me honestly and authentically asking.
I was like, oh shit, he remembered that.
Yes, I do remember that.
But when we broke up, it was a vehicle. It was a smaller car, but the one he was driving at the time, I was just like, that's a nice car.
Hey, Daddy.
Wasn't his, but it was a nice car.
Oh, moving on up.
But yeah, so he came back, tried to apologize. kind of understood why he came back. I was just like, oh, so you came back for that? You came back for sex? I was like, no.
Oh, he wanted friends with benefits.
I think so.
Did he ask directly?
Not directly, but kind of just hinted like, hey, by the way, like we could just be, sex. And I was like,
Not him coming to the safe place.
Oh, so was I that good? I was like, damn. Just kidding.
It was warm, honey. I've heard big girls have warm. Is it?
I don't know. I've never been told that, but okay.
I
mean, I hear tight, but not warm.
Oh, I hear that too.
But and I also think I was pregnant at the time. By the time he rolled back around, and I was just like,
okay,
yeah, no, I'm not gonna. We were just too different. We were too different.
You were just
people.
in a different place.
Yeah, very different headspace.
I think I had that kind of like interaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had the first, not the second guy that I was with for a long time, but the first one, when he did that, when I mentioned earlier, when he did come back, I couldn't do it. And it had nothing to do because he got even better. Like he looked way better than before when I was young. I was like head over heels with this guy. I remember when we first, because we met on, what was it called? Anyway, it was like a phone thing that you hear each other's voice, or an AOL,
I was gonna say
Adam
AOL.
for Adam. I don't know what it was.
Did you just say Adam for Adam?
Adam for Adam. I can't remember exactly how we met, but we met, and he came to. We ended up saying, "Can you come to my job?" And I was working at McDonald's at the time. He came in, and I was like, "Oh shit, that guy's cute." In my head, of course.
Oh yeah. I remember that story.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he came in, and he was like, "Hi." He's all, "Jose." I was like, uh-huh. He's all, "It's me." And he said his name. And I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, wait right there, and I will talk to you in just a second. Taking control already, Daddy. And so, because it was super, super slow. So my manager, her and I we're pretty good. And so I was like, "Hey, the guy that I told you about is here. Can I take my break?" And she says, yeah, take a break. So we're there, we're talking, and I'm like mesmerized, honey. He is yummy. And so finally I said, "Hey," so mind you, I'm a teenager. I'm like, I don't know, 17. And he says, I asked him, "Hey, so if we were to go out, are we gonna go half on it? Or are we gonna go like, I'll take this date, you pay for that one?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I said, "Well, what do you do for work?" And he's all, "Oh, I don't." I said, even at that age, I said, you gotta make money, honey. I said, because I can't be the only one paying for these bills, honey. I didn't say it like that, but I was like, I can't pay for these bills. You gotta help me. How are we gonna go to the movies? You gonna take me out? And he said, okay.
I'm so glad my first had a vehicle, because goddamn, I don't know what we would have done, but go on.
No, it's okay. I remember he walked away, girl, after we were done, and not only was I in love, head over heels immediately. You know, when you're young, you're head over heels right away. I went to the register, and we were about to close, and we did close. The door was locked, and he went, and he was wearing suspenders. I remember exactly. He was wearing like a t-shirt and suspenders, and he went, "I got a job." I was like, oh! That automatically told me he was interested, right?
Yeah.
And immediately, he didn't. I was like, "Wait for me, I'm almost done." I already, and so he did, because I knew he was taking the bus, and so did I, and so I was like, and we had to just walk to like our bus stops, and so I said, okay. So we were walking. He said, "Oh, you got a job?" He said, "Yeah, I got a job." I said, "Good for you. I'm happy for you." I said, "Okay, well," we were walking, and all I thought was, "Wow, this one's a dream boat." So when he came back years later, girl, I don't know how we got connected, but we got connected somehow through Facebook or something.
Oh, damn, it was like...
Yeah, it was years later, yeah. He came and said, "Hey, do you want to friends with benefits?" And you could tell it was going to be friends with benefits. But I couldn't let go of the fact that when he left me fucked. That when he wanted to go do friends with benefits, I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I told him, yes, let's meet up. He said, "I'll make you dinner," or whatever. And so it got a little romantic, but I thought I couldn't do this. Because if I even gave him that one night, I was going to fall in love again. That man meant so much to me, but I didn't have the guts to ever tell him. So when fast forward, when he did pass away, I never got to tell him how much I loved him. Like I was in love with him. So I couldn't do it. So I was all, fuck. I mean,
that makes sense to me why I couldn't do it. I think because I held on to him talking about another girl to me, thinking that was like, oh, it's okay, we're friends. Like, I'll tell you all the experiences that I had with her, and I'm like, sexual experiences? I don't want to. You just did that not too long ago, and you want to tell me what you did to her? So I guess that's why coming back, I was just like, no, bro, like, you broke my heart.
yeah.
And it took me a minute to get over it. It wasn't an easy, because I don't let people in as it is.
Yeah.
And then when I do, and you go and do that, like, no, I'm good.
And I think that's why with him, he had like moments where it was back to the same old guy that I met the first time. Like that ambition and drive. He was like, I don't know how this motherfucker was always flying to different countries. I know his sister was a flight attendant. So he constantly, I think on United, but he constantly was flying to different countries. And I remember one photo that I'll always take with me is that he's sitting in like a hammock and he's writing in a journal. It was beautiful. I thought to myself, I can't wait one day to do that exact same thing. So he's out there in the universe, and I will live the dreams that I can live, but I will experience what he did in that photo on my term. But yeah, I couldn't do it because I felt like he doesn't know how much he meant to me.
Yeah. I don't think they understand that. I mean, I never told my first ex that. No. Like, oh, this is how much you meant to me, and you broke my heart, and I had that real like wall up. Like, no, I don't. I mean, to say if I would do it now, probably not. I mean, he's probably happy in the world. I don't know.
I'm sure he is, but it I guess that's what it is that I get scared about. Like, there's been quite a few. There's been some that they're over. They're done. And they never want to hear from me again. When they break up, they broke up. He was an Aries, girl. He left me, honey. He said, bye-bye. He left me with all the right terms.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I was going to say,
that's the one I cheated on.
Did you ever have
Yeah. I deserved it. And he
I was about to say,
never looked back.
Up, maybe?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think I've had too many. Even when I thought it was going to be a healthy breakup, I got crazy and I broke the window. I know. She's toxic. I know, but you live, you learn, right?
Yeah.
And I always feel like I have to learn from these things. It's funny. It wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah.
And I took it as serious, and I apologized, and I asked to pay for it. It was one of those moments that was my lowest moment, because I thought I was in love. I wasn't in love with the guy. I was in love with wanting to be in love, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, yeah.
I remember it's kind of like that talk. Remember that song on the way to where I was, do you hear what he was saying? I was playing it, and he was saying something like, why did you come? Why did you
On the way here?
Yeah, we were listening to it. Maybe you weren't paying attention, but he was saying, like, why did you come into my life when you broke my heart? And he was saying, why are you trying to come back when you broke my heart?
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like the universe is always talking to us, right?
Yes.
Because we're talking on the way to like the podcast, and we're like, oh, what's the subject, and blah, blah, blah. And oh yeah. And then
getting ready for it. Yeah.
Something tells us that's the purpose of that's what we should say. And that was this message that we were talking about. But it's a heavy one. I feel like one time my grandmother, and this is why I say, because you learn really, really, really quick. Back then, I didn't know how to learn from those experiences. I just took the pain, and I didn't know how to solve the solution. But I remember one time, my ex, the second guy, we were up and down. And I had given enough notice to go on this trip. It was my senior year. My grandmother, who we're talking about in my past podcast, or my future one, whenever we post it, my grandmother was doing her best to get me a field trip. And she said, You can take any trip you want. Where do you want to go? I fucked up. I picked Los Angeles. I should have said.
Oh, that's when you went with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Paris or something. But I didn't want to go with the senior trip, and I said no. I want to go to California. So I chose one of my other friends, and then my best friend, who's currently my best friend, came with us.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we show up and we get there. We do all that. But right before we were gonna go, I had given my then boyfriend time to save. I gave him like 5 months. My grandma gave me enough time. She said, wherever you want to go, let me know and I will save the money and I will make sure that you go. I told him, okay, we're going to go on this day. I'm going to take the Greyhound. It was back in the day, honey. So she was like, oh, I'm going to take the Greyhound. This is how much it costs. We're going to come back this day. This is how much.
Oh, so y'all didn't fly out there?
No. I was like,
okay.
This is the hotel. We did all that. Mm-hmm. So I told him, I said, so please make sure you have enough money. Because I knew, when you're not in a healthy relationship, the outcome is going to be difficult. Mm-hmm. And so, sure enough, he never saved. And he never saved. Come the day before, I called him and I said, hey, I'm excited. Did you get the ticket and so forth? I gave you enough time. And he's like, no, and I can't believe you're going. Not the guilt trip, honey.
I hate the guilt trip.
I hate that. You can tell when it's toxic. You're not meant to be when it is toxic like that. And that motherfucker had the nerve to say, we're broken up. Bitch! Mind you, he guilt tripped me so bad that I turned around. I hung up the phone at that payphone because we're washing my clothes. My grandmother's washer was broken, so she took me to the washateria. And I was washing my clothes, and I tell her, Grandma, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to save your money, get your refund, but I'm not going to go. And she said, why me go? And I said, someone, my current, but I almost said the name.
I know.
I'm trying my best here. I said, he can't make it. So I'm not going to go. I just don't want to fight. And she looked me dead in the eyes. And she said, Mijo, let me tell you something. He's only the first man out of many men that are going to come in your life and tell you that you shouldn't go and you shouldn't do it. And they're going to be in different forms too. There's going to be maybe a woman too that'll make you, maybe convince you not to do it. No, she already knew I was gay, right?
Oh, I was about to say.
No, she already knew I was gay. That's why she said.
Oh, okay.
But she said, don't you ever let anybody tell you can't do something. She goes, it should be a reason why you should do it even more. And I swear she gave me the vibration that day to say, fuck you. And I called him right back and I said, you know what? I am going. I gave you enough time. I am going. He goes, well, we're broken up. I said, good. We're broken up then. And I left. And girl, I did.
Did you go back?
No, I met a guy. Yes, afterwards, yes. But
you met a guy out there?
Yes, I met a guy out there. He would dance for Britney Spears. Yummy guy. But he even guilt tripped me afterwards. And he was like, we weren't broken up. And I was like, well, that's funny. That's what you used to this day, he still doesn't admit to it. But why would I go do it? Like, I wasn't cheating at any of my relationships.
So he said you were a cheater because you messed around out there.
Even though he told me plenty of times we were broken up. You go, and he said, you go on this trip, we're broken up, don't even call me.
So why did you call him?
Oh, no, he called me.
Oh, okay.
No, I called him. You're right. I called him because I came back.
I just assumed.
No. I came back sick. And he either called me or I called him or whatever. And he said, what's wrong? And I said, I have a fever. This is my fault. Let me explain. Don't think that the guy gave me anything because I got checked and all that. I didn't get anything. What it was is that stupid me, the last day, one of my friends, my best friends, Rosa, said, I'm hungry. And I said, me too. Let's go to this Chinese place, hijo. Even back then,
course.
I always wanted Chinese. Well, I went into this place and there was gnats, but I hadn't noticed the gnats until I had already ordered. And my meal was in my hands. And I was like, are those gnats? It was like a ton of gnats by the flour. And I was like, ew. I swear to you, I ate the food and I got a fever and I got sick. So I came back sick. And he was like, I told you were a puto. I told you deserved it. You see, you gave you something. And I was like, I don't have time to get this. I'm tired. Just leave me alone. Took a couple of days. I finally got a lot better. Went to go get checked. Thank goodness it wasn't anything. But I didn't do anything with that guy like that.
For him to assume.
But it was his guilt that made me feel like I did. Girl, he even said, I went to a psychic and he said you cheated. She said you cheated on me. I was all, damn, you went to a psychic? I was all,
Chloe?
you mean Cleo?
Cleo, there you go.
There-
Cleo. Bad joke, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I fixed it.
That's why you're the comedian, love it.
Chloe, La Kardashian. I'm like,
Her too. Psychic.
Pobrecita. But no,
Stop, you keep going.
But I swear it was a lesson learned, and he was a huge lesson that I was like, that one I could have friends with benefits though, because I couldn't feel anything for him. Like even if
I get the disconnect, but the sex was good.
It was good. It was
for you to go back is what I'm
saying. Oh
saying.
yeah. For me to go back, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't. Don't think that with like what I could do, because we did do it, girl. I was years later, we still had it, and it was fine. But he wasn't. I didn't walk away and was like, oh, I love him, I miss him. Nope. Yeah. I was done, honey. Even my mom would beg me, please, Miko, go back with him.
Really?
I was all, Mom, you go back with him. And she said, no, please, we love him. The whole family loved him. And he knows, he to this day knows that the family loves him. Loves him. But
your sisters.
And I always tell him, well, that's your trauma. You deal with it. Yeah. I'm not going to deal with that. I said, I already dealt with it in my life, that I've learned to say never again. Mm-hmm. And I won't go back. Oh, he's married and happy now, hopefully. But it's one of those things that I'm like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. I don't want you, Vato. I'm sure he doesn't want this either. Mm-hmm. But it's just so many years my family was like, you should go back with him. I was all, fuck you. I'm done with this dude. I
didn't.
No?
Yeah. The second one came, so I remember I told you, yeah. We got together, had a child, reason why he came back a second time. But the first time I was just like, no, he is everything wrong in a relationship. Cheated, lied, addict, what else? Stealer, liar. That was too much trauma at that time that we separated, raised my child on my own. 10 years later, came back and tried to work things out for the sake of our kid, but same thing, same behavior. But it was that jail talk. It was that jail talk at the beginning because that's how it all first started. Oh my God, I've changed. Oh my God, I want to be there for our kid. Oh my God.
I don't know if you can hear my eyes roll.
You're a great mother, this and this and that. Just all that pretty jail talk that they give you at the beginning, and I'm gonna change, and I'm doing this, and I'm taking this class, and I've got certificates for this, and da da da. Mind you, he has his own trauma, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot for the second time around, and I was just like, that one was harder to leave because we actually lived together. The first time we didn't, so it was so easy to walk away, and I knew what I needed to do as a single parent to try to raise my child on my own. Mm-hmm. Second time, because my child was of age and understood who the father was, I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to get out of this situation? It's very, very, very toxic.
And it was strategic. That when you're in those kind of relationship where it's like you have to be strategic in the way you get out. Yes. Like you can't just freely get out.
I had to think like him, and I had to be almost 10 steps ahead of him in order for it, when I did get out, he wouldn't come back. Although he has, because you and I had an encounter.
An encounter, yeah.
But I was able to get out to where he's not like, well, no, I come back and say it's your fault, because that's what he would do with his ex. He would always blame his ex who has always been there. It's like a triangle with us. It's like, his ex, baby mama, and himself. It was an endless triangle. I hated, didn't want to be a part of it, but always blamed her for the heartbreak that he had. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna be. I at the time I didn't understand what she was going through, but then looking the second time around, I was just like, I feel so bad for her. She's stuck in this cycle with him because she's so in love with him and doesn't understand to love herself. I was like, nah, I love my kids and myself too much to try to lose what I do, the little that I do have, and what I've created this life for my kids.
A lot of people don't know is that you had, her and I were friends. We were friends through a mutual friend, right?
Yes.
Like we weren't that close.
Yeah.
But I remember I was angry.
Okay.
I was upset. And how could you put yourself in these situations? You gave a strong-headed, nobody fucks with me, nobody tells me what to do, I wouldn't do that. So you falling for that kind of man made me almost dislike you.
Yeah.
I
dislike myself.
I hate to say it that way, but
No.
I almost felt like I'm
it's
sorry.
It's like I did a disservice to myself with all the hard work that I put into my life at the time.
Because you were the one consistent thing, like in our friendships, besides the other best friend, is that you constantly, since at a young age, you were paying the bills. You were always smart about it. You were paying. You got your own house. You did all that good stuff, but you chose a man that put his hands on you, manipulated the police to believing that you were the one, you were the aggressor.
And he was the victim, yeah.
Correct. And this is what people do, that men like this, or just in general, that know how to manipulate the system.
Yes.
And know how to get away with it, because they've done it for so long, so they know how the in and outs.
They know the cue words. The in and outs of everything. So from that point, when that incident happened, I was just like, I need to get out. So it took me a year to get out and leave with, no, this is your fault.
Correct.
This is not my fault. I didn't create this. You have your own issues that you need to deal with. You're angry. You're mad at the world. You numb yourself by being an addict. It's everything in the book. Like I said, everything that could go wrong in a relationship went wrong. Everything. If the universe wasn't already slapping me in the face, I don't know what. I wasn't paying attention. I think I was just trying to. At the time, I was just like, well, I've been single for so long. That was the first part. Then when the situation happened, I was like, okay, now I need to get out. How am I going to get out?
Yeah.
Where do I go from here? Because I felt in my mind that I needed to do this on my own. I said, I put myself in a situation. I need to get myself out.
And yes, it's true. You should get yourself out. But at the same time, I should have been able to support and say, I'm always going to be here. I feel like I said, I clean my hands of this. And this is not my situation. I didn't get myself in this. And it wasn't fair for our friendship, what little that we had of it, to just back away.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was right. You should have at least said, I could have been able to say, like, you know what? Do what you're going to do, but I'm always here.
Yeah.
Even if we don't talk, yes, whenever you're ready, let's go.
Yeah.
This is the moment. And I feel like that was me making it up so what a lot of people don't know is that one day we were going to a meeting, and her and she was across the street. I got off the car to see if we could park there because of the signs, I told her, oh yeah, you can park here. So she's going in there, she's reversing, she's parking. I'm a little bit of a distance from where you parked. So she gets off the car and she's walking towards me.
Crossing the street.
But it looks like you're by yourself.
Yes.
And he reverses.
He sees me. Yeah.
Yes, sees you, jumps off the car. Melissa, be right before, is like, Melissa, come here. Melissa, come here.
And I revert to that scared girl that was trying to get out of the relationship. And I was like, and on top of that, we were going to a meeting, and I was just like, no, this cannot happen, because I'll go to 0 to 100 real quick, and I want to punch a motherfucker.
Because now you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
It's no longer, I'm a victim in my situation.
Yes.
Now you are a survivor, and now you've got to protect because you know what he's capable of.
Yes, but at the same time, I didn't want to put you in a situation where we're going to a professional meeting right now. We can't deal with this. Like, how do I walk away from this? And my thing was like, I put myself in a shell, and I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna get out? How am I gonna get out? How am I gonna get out? And luckily you were there, and you were kind of, let me handle this. And I think once he saw a male figure, he was like, oh, let me back the fuck up, because she's not by herself.
Yeah, and I think with a lot of people, yes, you see the nails, yes, that's a dude in the dress podcast. But when the time comes, because it's a survival thing. When the time comes, you just act. And I'm not a flee kind of behavior, like where I run away from the situation. I'm gonna just deal with it. And so I remember him running to you, or like walking like really fast.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You were already across the street, because you were like, no. And I've never seen you revert back to like a child. Like, I've never seen you in that limelight. And I remember when you walked away, I was like, I've never seen this Melissa. I've never, and so it got me mad. And I think that's why I was like, hey, bro, where are you going? And I stopped him, like put my hands in the way. I was like, where are you going, bro? And he's all, oh, no, I want to see my kid. Mind you, he's a grown man.
Yes.
So see your kid, you had all those years to see your kid.
Yeah.
And suddenly when now you don't have to pay bills, not that you do.
Not that he ever did.
Did. Suddenly you want to feel superior and so forth. Mind you, there's a woman in the car. Yes. That's not getting off the car. That's not telling them to quit. She's laughing.
I remember her laughing. I remember seeing her.
I saw that too. I'm in the moment of dealing with him and trying to tell him like, hey, you better back the get away from blah blah. Whatever I said. He never approached you in that sense. I said,
and then he apologized. I was like, now you're apologizing after you created all this chaos.
Because you're scared.
Yeah.
Now you know it's not just you and him.
Yeah.
Now he knows that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And so I remember that I just got angry. And I didn't mean, I just saw her laugh. When I turned to look at the car, I saw her laughing, and I was boom. You just gave me the okay to get angry with you too. Yes. So I started walking the same way you approached you as the way I went to that car, and I was like, you fucking bitch. Because how the fuck are you going to I was just so angry. It's a different situation. I know I could be calm about it. I know I could be whatever.
I think you were for the most part.
Yeah.
Up until you saw her like smirking. Like, I was like, how do you think it's okay for your man to approach another woman, telling her to come here and doing this finger gesture and thinking it's okay? It's not okay. And for you to be laughing, I was just like, girl, then you have no respect for yourself.
None. Especially when you're watching another woman. Almost had I not been there, I think that would have been he would have beat you.
Yeah, we would have been strapping it on. We would have been
strapping means fighting.
we would have been throwing
strapping.
We would have been throwing tacos. We would have been punching each other. Yeah, I don't let myself. That I will not do. Put hands on me, and I don't think you would have initiated the fight. No.
I think you would have just been to protect, because you know where he can go.
Because of past behavior with him and I was like, that's one thing I won't do, is like, don't put your hands on me.
And I completely get it, but thankfully he didn't.
No,
as soon as I got mad at the other, like whatever woman he was with, he was like, hey. And so then he left afterwards. It's
almost like he was protecting her the way you were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to me, it was weird to watch it and then be in it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's those moments that I feel like hopefully it let you know that I love you and I care about you. Yes. So it changes the situation. Yeah. How we got into this subject?
Sorry, I know it went into a big tangent of like, okay, well, I mean, that's the reason he came back again. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, why? I know we have a child together, but at this point, you should understand what age he is for you not to have to be coming back and saying, oh, hey, Melissa, let's talk. And like, we don't need to.
Well, I think a lot of people don't, like, it's not just always sex. It's not always like they just want to communicate because they want to reminisce about the past. Mm-hmm. It's not just always like that. Sometimes it gets crazy and physical and scary. And that's the other side of the laughter and so forth, that when you're in a safe environment, you're in a place where you can laugh about it, thankfully. But there are people out there that can't just walk away from it. Mm-hmm. And they have to be strategic about it. Mm-hmm. There's help out there, guys. So please get help. It's it's scary if you're in those situations, and I'm sorry you're in those situations, but like she mentioned, hopefully you learn to see those red flags ahead of time, to say, I'm good and I'm done. That's why
I think with him, it was the easiest, like, I'm done both times.
Yeah.
Both times. But again, like I said, the second time was for the sake of the child and bad mistake.
Because I feel like when exes come back, it's not always happy, and it's not always a good memory. Sometimes it leads to things like this. But
which is weird because I've experienced 2 different types of breakups, 2 different types of boyfriends.
Who hasn't, honey?
Considering I've only had 2, it's a drastic.
I know too, and she's already at the complete opposite of the spectrum.
Complete opposite, because one was calm and nurturing, and the other one's totally not.
Completely.
Complete. I was just like, dang, thanks, universe.
Yeah, okay. And lesson learned. Lesson learned. But thank you so much for listening, for taking the time just to talk and hang out with us, honey. So this is Jose, also known as Jose Nawan, and that's a Dude in a Dress podcast. And this is Malexa.
Also known as Melissa.
Dame a besito because we gotta go eat. Bye. Say bye, bitch.
Oh, bye. Sorry, guys. I was like, sorry.
Mensa,
Bye.
bye.